Hey, good morning guys, Tush coming at you. It's Saturday, January the 9th, and just coming up to about 7:45 in the morning. And we've got a little bit of a rainy day today, although it's pretty warm out. I think it's supposed to be a high of +6 or +7 today, which is great. Hopefully it'll melt some of this snow and get back to brown grass. Anyway, we're on a little bit of an adventure this morning. If you remember me talking to you about Sean, a prospective TR owner. Sean's bought himself a 1968 TR250, and this morning is the day that we're going to go and pick it up. We got about a couple-hour drive into around the Niagara Falls area to pick the car up, so we'll drive down and pick it up, and hopefully it'll be able to get it on the trailer okay this morning. It is stored outside, and it's on a little bit of a dirt track, so it might get a little muddy in the process, but that's okay. All part of the adventure. Anyway, we've got a spare tire packed up. We've got the come-along packed up, just in case. Sean's stopping by with a buddy of his with the truck and trailer. So I'm just waiting on them, and we'll be on our way. Alright, well, I'll try to give you some reports during the day. Talk to you later, guys. Alright, here we are. I got her on the trailer, just trying to find a home for the engine. Okay, this is for any of you guys who've never seen a block heater on a TR6 motor or a TR250 motor. Look at that baby. All ready to go for the winter months. So Sean's 250's made it home safely, and it's sharing the stable with a few bikes. Beauties. This is my favorite. It's a bike fanatic. Soon to be a Triumph fanatic.
Too late already.
Hey, good morning guys. Tush coming at you. It's Sunday, January 10th, just after 10 o'clock in the morning. And we're just out in the garage this morning. Still raining outside. As you can see, most of the snow is gone, which is a good thing. It's about +3 degrees outside, which is quite nice actually for the beginning of January. Normally it's like -20 and tons of snow on the ground. So yeah, I'm enjoying this weather. Hopefully it'll be an early spring if this continues. Anyway, had a good day yesterday with Sean and Dom, his buddy Dom, who drove the truck and trailer up to pick up his new TR250 in close to Niagara Falls, Ontario. We managed to make it home safe and sound, and got it in the garage squared away. So hopefully Sean will start that project in the near future, and we can grab some updates. So we'll see it come back to life. Anyway, we're out in the garage this morning, and we're continuing on the fender project. And I'm just waiting for my buddy Les to show up, and we're going to head up to my storage location. And up there I've got some old fenders from another car that I have, another 1960 that I have up in storage. It's a parts car, so we've got some crash damaged fenders, let's call them. You'll see the condition they're in once I bring them back home. So we're hoping that we'll be able to grab a few little patches for these front and rear fenders that I've just got sitting over here in the corner. I'm not sure if we're going to be able to find any usable patches. Like I said, it was a crashed car, so a lot of the panels have been damaged, but we'll see if we can find something that might be usable to help us out getting these fenders back into a better state of repair. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. Just waiting for Les. We'll come back later. Alright guys, just today. Coming up to, or just past 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're back from our trip to the storage location. And we've got a little bit of good news to report, so not sure where we should start. Let's maybe start on the rear fenders first. So I'll just take a quick scan around the room. So you can see I've got the, as I'm calling them, crash damaged panels. You can see that they're in pretty rough shape in certain areas, but there might be some areas that are usable. So let's take a look first of all at, I only have this one piece of this rear fender. So I'm actually looking to replace this piece. And actually, if this turns out to be as good as it looks on the back, we should be able to utilize that piece to fix that. So that's a good thing. The other rear fender, which is actually the worst one, actually has the hole in it. Unfortunately, this panel has seen better days, and this may require more work than just actually trying to fix that panel with some patching. So we'll have to wait and see. We may be able to get the hammer and dolly out and reshape that where need be. Again, we're only really trying to repair the piece that's just below this stone guard, so it's not like we're having to replace this big kink up here. We're really looking at this piece here. So it's possible I may be able to reshape that and use it. The flange is still pretty square, so we might get away with being able to use that. We'll have to wait and see. So those are the rear fenders. So let's take a look at the front fenders. Well, the good news is this is the driver's side front fender, and if you remember, we got all that patchwork quilt down there. Well, this is off the crash car, and you can see obviously the front of the fender is absolutely toast. But actually, this looks pretty good, and we have a good flip this around. We've got a good flange on the bottom, a relatively good flange. You can see it there, and it looks pretty good on the inside. So I think that might be usable. So that's one good thing. So then we came to the passenger side, and that's what the fender looks like that I'm working with. Now, this one's not quite as good. Obviously, it's got some big. Let me pull this one out a little further. It's got some pretty good concave action going to it. But again, we're going to try to just rescue the bottom part, so it's not quite as bad as the upper part. And the other good thing is it still has, again, a flange on the bottom that might be usable. So we may be able to pound that back out from the back. So I might have some usable pieces here. So we might be okay as far as rescuing these fenders by using some patches off of these fenders. So that's a good thing. So I'm glad I went and dug these panels out. I'm glad I actually didn't throw them out. I was sort of being encouraged to throw them out by a few people who stopped by the garage and saw them and saw their sort of twisted metal. But I'm glad I saved them, because it looks like I've got definitely some usable pieces to be able to recreate these fenders or bring them back into a better shape. So that's a good thing. Here's the trunk lid, which has seen better days as well. We've already started sort of cutting metal out of that, using it for patches, so that will not be reused except for some more metal patches. So anyway, hopefully the trunk lid is in good shape on this car. Anyway, that's it for now, guys. I'm going to figure out what to do. We're going to probably cut out what I need to cut out off of the scrap crash fenders, and then just probably toss the other stuff back on the junk pile. All right, guys, just a quick update. Here's the worst of the front fender patch panels, and I've just sort of flattened it out a little bit. I stepped on it from the back side, and it's still pretty wavy, but much better than what it was. So you can see what I'm going for here. The black marker is just the size of the patch I made. It's not going to be where I cut it, but I just wanted to see, you know, once I line the panels up, where I could possibly go up to with this patch. So you can sort of see it fits there with the radius of the fender. Obviously the panel needs to be flattened out before we do too much, but you can see how that lower lip is much better on this panel. And again, we've got the flange intact, and again, this will have to line up on the back of the rear fender, but we'll have to flatten it out and get it to fit a little better before we do any cutting. So that's the update on the first patch panel. So yeah, I think we'll be able to use that to help rescue that fender, so that's a good thing. Anyway, we'll go on to the next one, which is the better one. So we'll give that a cut. That's a look at the other patch that I cut, and it's looking pretty good. And again, I've just sort of scribed a line up to where I think this panel can cover if need be. So there's what the new panel looks like. Pretty flat. Hopefully it looks okay underneath the paint. I'm pretty sure it will be much better than the current panel. So that's what that looks like. So that we replaced that section roughly. So yeah, set those aside, and I've cut off those pieces of the rear fender. And like I said, the one's pretty good, and then this one, which is this fender, at least the flange is in good shape, so if worse comes to worse, I can still use the flange piece to repair that area. So there'll still be some good parts I can get off of this. So I think we're doing okay. I feel better now having a few parts to work with. So I think the next thing that I need to do, if I'm going to start working on these fenders, is I need to start removing some of the structure on the inside of the fender. So what I need to do is I need to actually remove this this piece that attaches the fender to the A post, and it's basically got a couple of welds along here, and then the skin is folded on to secure it and tack welded. So I've got to remove a couple of tack welds. I can see one there, and there's one up here. So I've got to remove a few welds to be able to remove this this piece, and then we'll be able to sort of take out the area that we need to take out, and then graft in another piece. So that's the idea anyway. We'll come back in a little bit. Miserable outside. Poor old TR6 is getting covered in snow. Anyway, we may have to bring that in shortly. It's getting pretty windy out there as well, so I don't want to get too much snow on the car. So yeah, maybe another hour or two, and that'll be it. All right, guys, quick update for you. So we managed to get that brace out. It was a little bit of a challenge. I was having trouble getting underneath this flange. That's the door skin that's just sort of pounded over the top of this brace. This brace is what attaches the fender to the A post. So we wanted to remove this in order to be able to cut through and take this piece of metal out without having to cut through the brace. So it looks like the patch on the front of the panel starts about here. This is an extra piece of metal. You can see that it runs down to here when they just bent that up to make the bottom flange. So the intent is to obviously try to, you know, I've got a patch long enough probably to go up to about this point in the fender, but anyway, we need to at least cover this much. So the next step for me will probably be to cut out, you know, a length of this fender along here and try to get out as much of the patchwork as possible, and then we'll have to graft in another piece. So that's what the next step is. We're going to stop here for tonight. I do have a couple more options now apparently on fender patches. I've got a buddy of mine named Joe who's actually working on a TR3 as well, and he has some fender patches I think that are left over from his project or were not required for his project. So Joe has offered to mail those to me. So we'll see. I've asked Joe to tell me how big the patch is. I'm not sure how high the patch goes, the purchase patch goes. So hopefully it'll be big enough to cover the area that I need to cover. If not, we have the old bottoms of the fenders to cover what we need if required. Although, again, that one side needs quite a bit of work to be able to use the patch. But anyway, that's it for now, guys. I've got to dig the TR6 out. If I let it go much longer, I'm not going to be able to find the car in the snow. So I think we'll get out there and we'll dust it off, and we'll bring her back into the warmth of the garage. Alright guys, that's it for tonight. We'll upload this and we'll get back out here tomorrow, hopefully. Here's what winter looks like through the window of a TR6 in the snow. Can you imagine driving one of these in the snow?